All right. I would like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your location and your time. I want to believe you know the reason why you are here. Although I don't know how you got linked to our channel, but I want to strongly believe there's a reason for you coming here. Firstly, this is TGR Trades. It's a company. And in this company, what we do is that we address some sensitive issues in the financial market. When it comes to strategies, when it comes to risk management, fund management, trade management, when it comes to funding, again, and then news and some other events that impact the market. So that's exactly what we do here. And my name is Ola. My guy call me 80. Some call me Mr. 80. So I even go to the extent of calling Mr. 80 money. It's okay. Um, this video is actually meant for demonstrating the systematic trading model. So this is a model that we just designed, and we believe, based on the fact that we'll be using it personally, and our students have actually been using it making profit, and then normally we will be using it, in-house, but we just decided to make it available, to the public, to people that will be interested in it. But of course, not free of charge, just token. And that is the reason why we are actually making this strategy available. And we understand that some traders are actually frustrated, and some are actually chasing the shadow. Some believe that you can just come to the financial market, then make it overnight, and you get rich. Just go clubbing, you know, attending to financial issues. It doesn't work that way. So it requires skills, it requires dedication, it requires you being informed. You need to be informed, you need to understand what is happening in your environment. So it had to do with some kind of personality. So if your personality is not aligning with the nature of the market, then you still have a long way to go. So that is why we designed this strategy. So these are our very first strategy. There are some strategy that are still coming up, but this is the very first one. So that's why we employ you to follow us on all our social media platform. So make sure you subscribe to this channel so that by the time we release another strategy. Although our strategy usually take time to come up because we need to back test, we need to validate, we need to do a lot of things before we release our strategy. So this is the very first one that we are making public. So, and there is this systematic and trading model. So before we go into the full demonstration and the application of this model, so we need to talk. So let's talk about trading. Um, you see, sometimes I will just smile. Sometimes I don't even know what to say. When I look at some traders, I belong to some social media platforms, and you see a lot of adverts, you see a lot of display, you see a lot of things on social media. Let me tell you the fact: 90% of what you are seeing there are far, far from the truth. I don't know. I just feel like I'm the only one that usually tell people the truth, and at the end, they just look at me that like I don't know what I'm saying. But I've been in the industry for more than 5 years. I know exactly what I'm saying. So what I'm going to say today, please just take it. I will just advise you, take it. That is the truth. So don't deceive yourself. Is the hard truth, the bitter truth. You can you can hardly get from anybody. So that is it. So now let's look at some things here. Let's look at the truth, the hype, and your own success in this industry. Um, you've seen Facebook, a lot of adverts. Some guys, displaying their Lamborghinis. You see some, having nice time at the beach. You see some in the restaurant. You still, I just smile. Fine, they are making it, and some are actually truth. Honestly, some are true, no, some are actually doing fine. But my guy, my guy, they are not up to 5%. I will tell you the fact. They are not up to 5% that are actually making it from the real trading. When I say real trading, I'm not talking about selling mentorship, selling courses. I'm not talking about being monetized from social media, YouTube monetization, Facebook monetization. Those are the area where these guys are getting their money. Those that are getting money from the real trading itself, they are not up to 5%. I can't see, you cannot even see them shouting. You can't see them on social media. You see, that is a fact. I'll tell you the fact. So it depends on you. So that is the reality of this industry. You see some kind of displays, you see some kind of sweet talk, you see some kind of promises. Some will just tell you that start trading with $10, you will make a $150, after 2 days. Fine, it depends on them, but the fact is that those things are far from the truth. Now, um, you see, trading is not get rich quick. It's not that kind of scheme. I will tell you the truth. Fine. There is a point you will get to that you start making good money. That you start making good money. And the money will be like, wow, you'll be surprised. But before you get to that point, before you get to that particular junction, you must have put in a lot of hard work, a lot of dedications, a lot of discipline. So by the time you start, reaping those rewards, it will just look like magic. You see, so you see, there are some they be trading, they just traded for a year and they got money, they got funded by pro firms, and before you know it, they started making good money. We have people like that. We have some traders like that. They are making good money. Some traders are making thousands on daily basis. Some are making thousands on monthly basis. But the fact is that what percentage are these people? What are their hard works they actually put in? What are the things that they have actually sacrificed? So ask yourself, have you sacrificed anything? So how many years of trading have you actually gone through? You get what now? So do you have anybody guiding you? Do you have any strategy that is like guiding you in the industry? Do you still have that confidence? Is your emotion driving you in the market? Because there are a lot of questions you need to ask yourself. You get what now? So but you see, these traders, these people, they will not tell you all this. So they will just lay you into this and they believing that everything will be fine. So the industry, the dark side of the industry. So you see, majority of these traders that you see out there, you get point. Some of them are making it from mentorship programming, like I just said, social media monetization. You get better. And some have some side hustles. You get that there now. So even ask yourself on YouTube, why will someone be releasing strategies every week? So even the guy that releasing strategy every week, how many strategy is the guy using on his own? Why will you be using the same strategy and different strategies every week? That is not possible now. The market is not so straightforward, in that manner. So that's why you see some people will get deceived. They will just get lured into their mentorship program, buy this, buy that, get this. So only half will stay and half will just disappear. Okay, so that is the dark side. So you have to be very, very careful. So then the good news is that we've actually designed this strategy and we'll be using it. It's working fine. Although our own here is to tell you the truth, put you through, guide you, but the final decision still lies on you. So we are not going to force you. We don't actually do that because it's your money, it's your emotion, and it's your future. So ours is to guide you. And there are a lot of things you need to know when it comes to trading. You know, this is the truth, the hard truth that you need to know at this point, and then stop deceiving yourself. Stop thinking that when it comes to the industry, things will start, going out fine. No, it doesn't work that way. You see, trading, trading is about probability. So don't let anybody deceive you. When we say probability, we are not talking about a gambling. You get point now. But we are talking about the chances of things happening. But you need something to guide you, to give you that clue. You get point now. To make sure that that certainty, that probability you are actually looking at, it will work out to some extent and come to your favor. That is why you need a lot of technical analysis. That's why you need good strategy, the risk management, fund management. You get point. The fact is that the market itself is about probability, but it now depends on how you can analyze the market to ensure that you are getting what hedge. So at the end of the week, at the end of the day, at the end of the month, you are making profit. So that is exactly what we're after here. Then you need a good risk management. It's not about get rich quick. You get point? So that is the simple fact. And another thing is about your emotion. You see, some traders, the market is not their enemy. So then themselves, they are the enemy. They're actually the enemy of themselves. You get point? Because the way they address the market, is somehow amazing that they just feel like they can just get through, make the money. So the market will not actually allow you to do that because the market has pattern. So if you fail to understand the pattern, then you just get yourself into real trouble. That okay. And then we have a lot of strategies out there. We have a lot of strategies. We have the price action, we have indicators, the get a lot of them, SMC, a lot of the. You see, the fact is that no strategy that will give you 100% success. It doesn't work. Indicators, there is no magic indicators. You get point now. There is no magic price action. SMC is not a magic. You get point now. ICT is not a magic. You get point now. All these key levels that you mark, all these they are not magic. You get point now. They are only there to guide you, to support your own skill to get hedge in the market and be able to make some money. That okay. So based on this, so please you have to understand what the industry is all about. Because for now, you need to relax. You actually need to relax. You need to relax. You need to learn a lot of things. Because you need to be patient. You need to be patient, honestly. So you need to be focused. You need to be dedicated. You see, you have a lot of things to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice your time. You sacrifice your money. You sacrifice a lot of things before you can get hedge out of this market. And then you see, one thing is that at the end, when things start working out, just towards your favor, it will look like magic. So that is exactly what I have to say before we go into the real demonstration of our strategy. All right. Um, Before we go into the demonstration on how to use our trading strategy, it is necessary to take us through this. This is a kind of roadmap. It's a kind of pattern that we follow to determine when to trade and when not to trade. So we don't trade all the time. We only trade when the market gives us the opportunity. And there is a particular pattern that we normally observe, that we monitor. And when the pattern comes out, then we enter trade. And if you go through the ebook, everything has been explained. So what I'm just doing now is to give a kind of summary. That again, and a lot of things have actually been analyzed in the ebook. Now, before I go into this explanation, you need to understand that our strategy involves using two indicators. We use two indicators. So if you check here now, so we use this indicator SSL hybrid. So we use this SSL hybrid. Okay. Then I will use a stochastic RSI. These are the two indicators that we use. Now, as we all know, indicators usually lag. They give information very late. And because of this, we are able to modify those two indicators. So we actually did a kind of refining. So we modified some of the perimeters so that it will give us information as soon as possible. Although, if you want to get the right information as soon as possible, as a matter of fact, you need to be patient because there is this pattern that market usually display, that opportunity may not really come out as expected, but the indicator that we've already modified, so it's actually giving us the right signal and at the right time. That again. Now we use two indicators. Then we use the following time frames. We use weekly, daily. We use 12 hours. We use 2 hours. We use 30 minutes, and we use 5 minutes. Now, all these indicators, we don't use them at the same time. We use them at different time in different combination, depending on the market situation. For instance, now, if market is in very high momentum, so we use particular time frame. If market is ranging, so we use different time frame. So we have different combination of time frame for different market situation. That is why you need to study very hard to understand this market. The industry requires serious training, serious learning, serious. As a matter of fact, you need to put in a lot of effort. So trading goes beyond you just waking up and want to start making money. It doesn't work that way at all. So that's why I always look at some people when they feel like they can just get money then start trading. Hmm. People that are making it in this industry. So when you ask, they have a lot of things to say. They have a lot of things to say, a lot of things to say. But what we are doing here, we are just bringing a kind of a ready-made strategy to you. So what you just need to do is apply it exactly the way we are explaining it. Okay, but don't bring your own twist, don't bring your own mentality, your own emotion into it. So if there's need for you to make some adjustment, we'll let you know. That's why we normally hold interactive section every Saturdays from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So when you join our Telegram group, so we normally give that announcement. But okay, although we'll be doing that, we stopped that for some times, but I think we are going to start all over again. That again. So now this is a pattern that we follow. This is weekly, this is daily, this is 2 hours. So what we do is that when you wake up or when market opens for the day, forex market opens 11 p.m., crypto opens 1 a.m. When the market opens for the day, go and check stochastic RSI and to know if you are having either buy signal buy signal from stochastic RSI or you're having sell signal. Now, how do you know this? So this is what we have here. So if you can see here, so this is stochastic RSI here. So that is 2 hour. Can you see this 2 hour time frame? Now, if you look at this stochastic RSI, it has been modified. Can you see it's looking very smooth? If you download the usual stochastic RSI, it will never look like this. So we've already refined it, we've modified it. That's why it's looking very smooth. Can you see it's taking nice pattern, ups, down, ups, down. So this is what we follow. Okay. So this is the upper band, which is overbought. This is lower band, which is oversold. When the stochastic RSI on 2 hour time frame hit upper band, meaning it is time to sell. But when it hits a lower band, which is oversold, meaning it is time to buy. So you sell from top, it's just like selling from swing high down to the swing low. Then from swing low, you buy to the swing high. So this is exactly what we use to determine when to trade. So in case you are checking the ebook and you come across when to buy or when to sell using stochastic RSI. So this is what we mean by buying from low and selling from high. So that again. So now let's quickly go through this. I don't want us to waste time. So now, now that we know how to determine when to buy and when to sell from 2 hour stochastic RSI. Now, the next thing you are going to do after checking 2 hour stochastic RSI, the next thing is to check 1 week. 1 week. Now, let's look at this. I'm using only this. So I will use this as an example so you can go through this on your own. Now look at sell. 2 hour stochastic RSI is telling us to sell, meaning it's at upper band. So we are selling. Now 1 week asking us to buy. So 1 week we just look at the candle. Is the candle green or red? So that is exactly what we do here. So we don't overanalyze the market. So we don't draw all the different trend line, all those things. We don't do that. So it's simple. You get what? Now here, 1 week is asking us to buy, one day asking us to buy, but 2 hour asking us to sell. In this case, no trade. Can you see this? No trade. So don't trade here at all. So just close the chart and find something else to do until you get the right signal. Here, 2 hours is asking us to sell, 1 week sell, one day buy. Now, because 1 week supersede one day, we are going to consider this as a trade. So it is high trade. Can you see sell 2 hour, meaning that 1 week candle is red, sell, but one day is green, buy. So because 1 week weekly candle supersede and daily candle, so it's a trade here. So we are going to take this trade. If you look at this sell, 2 hour is asking us to sell, 1 week buy, one day sell. Now because 1 week weekly candle supersede daily candle, we consider this as a very low quality trade. So we normally advise traders to stay away, don't take the trade. Although some of them, we normally tell someone that you can take the risk. So I think I'm going to demonstrate some of those risks and we can take the risk. And sometimes it plays out. It plays out. Most of the time it plays out. But in order we need to play safe. That is why we normally encourage trader not to take this kind of trade. Now the last one, sell, sell, sell. This is very high quality trade. You get point now. So can you see? I've already used this as an example. So on your own, you can analyze this to understand what I explained here. Now, after you use the 2 hours weekly and daily time frame. So how do we trade? How do we enter our trade? So this is how we enter our trade. Now, can you see? For high quality trade and very low quality trade, I've explained how to know the high and low. So if you have high quality trade and low quality trade, how do we take our trade? How do we have our setup? Now, this is what we do. We use 12 hours liquidity sweep. There must be liquidity sweep on 12-hour time frame to take this kind of trade. If you do not see liquidity sweep, don't take the trade. Although there are some liquidity sweep that may not really be 100%, that may not really be real liquidity sweep. You can still take some risk to get bonus. So as time goes on, we continue explaining the strategy. Then you go to 5 minutes, you enter your trade at limit order. So I'm going to explain how to enter trade as limit order. You set a limit order trade and wait for price for your entry to be triggered. So that is for that. But for the very high quality trade, very high quality trade is when 2 hours weekly, daily are giving you the same narrative. That's very high. In that case, you don't need 12-hour liquidity sweep. What you need is 30-minute SSL baseline and 5 minute time frame. But this time around, it will be market order, not a limit order. That okay? So now, what I just explained here now, I'm going to demonstrate. I'll go to the chart now. I will demonstrate some. So although I may not be able to do everything, but because of time. But if you check the ebook, everything has been explained. That again, how you are going to modify the indicators, how you are going to set up the indicators, how the right time to bring in price action, using fair value gap, using the imbalance and all the okay. Well, some people believe that fair value gap and imbalance are not the same, and some believe they are the same. You get point. As a matter of fact, they are similar. It's just very slight different. You get point. So breakup block, demand zone, supply zone, key levels, those are price action. So we've already explained it in the ebook when you can use all those price action alongside with the indicators to get high quality trade. Is that okay? So let's go to the chart and have some demonstration. Now let's have some demonstrations. Although some of these demonstrations they're actually from our past trade, the trade that we've taken in the past. We are taking. So we just spotted some of them. So we just trying to go back, to explain how we took those trade, the reason for taking the trade, and the way we follow our strategy. So, the essence of all this is to understand the pattern of the market, understand the nature of our own strategy, and how you can bring the two together to your own advantage. So that is the essence of all this. And you see, by the time you start using our strategy, you will discover a lot of things. The good idea now, you discover a lot of things, especially if you're using it for like other markets, like imagine like volatility 25, like indices, like gold. You will discover some things. You get the idea now. So that is why we normally hold interactive section every Saturday. So you come up with those things, we discuss them together, then we give you our own recommendation. Is that taken? So that is the essence of all the, everything is just that we need to come together as a community and we grow. You get the idea now. But I keep on saying this, there will be a lot of sacrifice on your own part. That is a fact. If you're not ready to give it your time, as a matter of fact, you may not go far in this industry you are taking. So now let's look at this trade. So we took this trade, that is April 9. Yes, I remember this trade. So it was a kind of wonderful trade. So that is April 9. Is that okay? If you see this trade, this is 2 hour stochastic RSI. Now, you need to understand something here. Let me highlight this so that you can see what I'm seeing here. So try to get this. Now, this is BTC USDT. The market usually opens 1 a.m. Now, the 2 hour stochastic RSI hit the lower band when? That is 3 a.m. Can you see 3 a.m.? Although it has been trading down, trading down, trading down, you get point now, but it hit this 3 a.m. But hitting it at 3 a.m. does not mean we enter trade at 3 a.m. This is indicator. We don't trade directly based on indicators. So we don't trade directly based on indicators. We use indicators to spot opportunities, know when opportunities will present itself. Then we now use our price action to know when to trade and to have setup. So not that we use indicators to enter trade. Like here now, we can't say because the 2 hour stochastic RSI hit lower band at 3 a.m., they now start buying. Of course, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So now what do we do? This is 2 hour time frame. Is telling us to buy. This is buy signal from 2 hour. Now, step two, you go to 1 week. Find out is 1 week giving us the same signal with 2 hour. So that is what you're going to do for you to know if the signal is quality or not. Now, if you look at this now, so this is the trade. So 1 week is bullish, 1 week is buying already. Can you see? Now let's look at 1 day. Now, don't forget, 1 week supersede 1 day. What we normally use 1 day daily candle to do is to know the kind of entry we are going to have. That is even the essence of 1 day, to know the kind of entry. And don't forget, we have two types of entry. We have entry one that involves using 12-hour liquidity sweep, and we have entry two that involve using 30-minute SSL baseline. Those are the two entries we have. It is this daily that will tell you the kind of entry you are going to use, not 1 week. What we need 1 week to do is to align with 2 day and 2 hours and stochastic RSI. Now here now, stochastic RSI on 2 hours is asking us to buy. 1 week is also buying. Now let's check daily to know the kind of entry we are going to have. If you look at it now, the daily candle is also buying. So the kind of entry we are going to have here is 30-minute SSL baseline. We don't need 12 hours liquidity sweep here. That again. So now, what is the next thing? You now go to the 30-minute time frame. This is 30-minute time frame. So let's have it here. So we have 30 minutes time frame. We don't need stochastic RSI here. What we need is SSL hybrid. So you're going to on your SSL hybrid. So this is there. Now I want to say something about this SSL hybrid. Is a kind of indicator that many traders don't really notice. Some are not even aware that there is this kind of indicator. This indicator is so powerful, so wonderful, very sensitive. Like it will give you signal that you may not even doubt. Look at here now. It bought. Can you see it broke out, start buying. It broke down, selling. Let's look at some. Can you see? Broke down, selling. So can you see we have small buy here. So can you see we have small buy, broke down, selling. That again. So the indicator is so wonderful that I don't even know the guy that designed it. So, but we don't trade directly with it because we only use it to support our own strategy. So now this is 30-minute SSL and this is you want to buy. You want to buy. Now you look at this 30-minute line, it will be what? Red, meaning we are still selling. So don't forget that the signal came at 3 a.m., meaning it is not that 3 a.m. that you enter trade. We only use the indicator to give us the signal. You get that? So what you're going to now, you wait for the candle to touch this SSL line. Do you get what now? And then what will actually happen is that it will break out the SSL line. So it will break out. You get what now? So, but don't wait for it to break out. Just allow it to touch. So let's see how it will touch it. Can you see? So I think yeah, we have a touch here. We have exactly touch. This one is even about touching it. So we have a touch here. So after touching it, now you go to 5 minutes. Don't forget, we are using 30-minute SSL baseline here. Why? Because the 2 hour stochastic RSI asks us to buy. The weekly candle, weekly time frame is giving us buy signal because the candle is green. The daily candle is also giving us buy signal because it's also green. So the three time frame are in confluence. So in this case, we are using market order. You enter your trade immediately. That is when candle touches the 30-minute SSS line. You get point now? Or you may not even allow it to break out. Can you see this one even touch it here? So this one touch it here. So it could be here. You may not even wait for it to break out. So just to touch. Is the touching that we need, so not the breakout. So just the touching. I think here is touch it here. That a kind of tap. So you now go to 5 minutes. For 5 minutes, you don't need SSL baseline. What you need is entry straight. So you just enter your trade. So how do we enter trade? Now, entering trade is also a very, very key here. It's very, very important. Now, we know that we are going in market order. So this is what we're having here. So it is market order. We are entering trade immediately. That again. So now you have your buy here. You get for now. Now you look at the swing low, the immediate swing low. This is immediate swing low. That again, your stop loss will be Bennett, the swing low. Then you take although for me I take 3 to 1 risk to reward ratio. That is 3 risks to reward ratio. But in your own case, for starting, you can take 2, you can take 2.5. So by the time you are conversant with everything, you can be taking 3. So here I have a 3 here. So this is 3. I'm having 3 here. So I think so. This is the entry. So let's allow it to play out. So I remember this trade. I think yes, I entered the trade. That was around 5 p.m. before going to work. So I think it actually triggered maybe around 1 p.m. in the afternoon. I could remember that. So so can you see? So we have a kind of retracement, this correction, that of course that will pull back. So your is to enter the trade, and we want to encourage you when you enter the trade. So don't be checking the chart. Just leave it. We can just leave it. We can barely give the trade maybe like 10 hours. So can you see? So we have this trade. I think that is all for this. So let's look at another setup to see how that one also. Okay, let's check one or two more setup. Now this is 2 hour candlestick. So this is 2 hour. Can you see the 2 hour hit this lower band, meaning we are to buy. So this is a buy setup. No, this is a buy. But before you will conclude, go and check 1 week. Is 1 week giving you red candle or green candle? So we look at the candle for the week. So now if you look at the weekly candle, it's giving us red candle. Although we had a very massive rejection. But we still need to go with the strategy. So weekly red candle is sell, regardless is sell. That again. So now let's look at daily. So daily is also selling. So what is happening is that 2 hours is giving us buy signal, but weekly and daily are selling. So in this case, we don't have trade. So just close the chart, find something else to do, and wait for another opportunity. That again. So let's check one more trade for. Uh, okay, let's check in 2 hours here. This is 2 hour time frame. So let's look at another trade where we have okay. I think we have so many. Can you see this hit here? Let's just pick anyone. Let's pick let's just pick anyone there. Okay. Let's look at this. So here we have okay, let's look at buy. Let's check buy this time around. So here we have this buy. This is telling us to buy. So this is 2 hour stochastic RSI hitting. So let's check if this one will play out. Maybe to hit our stop loss or it will play out or not. So it depends. So here we're asked to buy. Let's check is weekly buying. Well, weekly is selling. But let's check daily. Daily is also selling. So we don't have trade here. Don't have trade here. So we don't have trade here. So you just have to be patient. So now let's check this. Uh, this is buy here. So it hit at this point. So let's check this. So 2 hours. Oh, sorry, we're checking 2 hours. So let's just pick another one and see. Maybe we're going to have a trade. Okay. So this one is asking us to sell. Okay. So this is 2 hour asking us to sell. Let's check 1 week. Is 1 week selling? So 1 week is also selling. Is one day selling? Oh, one day is buying. Fine. Now, um, 2 hours is asking us to sell. Can you see? Sell upper band. 1 week is also selling, but one day is buying. And we all know 1 week supersede one day. So we have a trade here. But the trade here, we are using 12 hours liquidity sweep. So we are not using 30-minute SSL baseline. So when you are going through the ebook, you just need to take your time, understand. As you are reading each part of the ebook, go to your chart and be practicing it until you get used to it. So, and the reason why we are using Telegram group instead of Telegram channel is that we want everybody to have access to us so that you can get in touch with us anytime. So when you use this strategy and you find some minor issue or technical issue, you can easily get in touch so we can put you through. So this is just demonstration. So you can easily get in touch. We'll put you through. If we discover anything, we can easily tell you what to do immediately. So it's a kind of follow up, and we are growing together. So now this is right. So now 2 hour is asking us to sell. 1 week is also selling, which is we have a trade here. But daily, the daily will tell you what to do. Will tell you either you are using 12-hour liquidity sweep or you are using 30-minute SSL baseline for your entry. So now, because weekly and daily are not aligning, so we are using 12-hour liquidity sweep. How do you do that? So now you go to 12 hours. So you wait, you get that, you wait for liquidity sweep to the downside. You get what now? So liquidity sweep, I think I've explained that. Okay, I'm not sure, but let me just explain liquidity sweep. So liquidity sweep is when you have candle range. You know, that's what we call a candle range theory. So look at liquidity sweep here. So this, okay, we don't have liquidity sweep here. So, but is a kind of partial liquidity sweep. So this is the low here. Can you see the low? So this one we have partial and we have a complete sweep. So this price came down, but it did not sweep the liquidity, but it closed below. So that is what gave us this upside. So that what gave us the upside. But sometimes you can have a complete sweep. Now this is a complete sweep. So if you look at here, can you see this candle came down, sweep this low. So sweep this low, this green. So this red came down, sweep this low. That's how we have this upside. So that is candle range. This is what some people usually trade. Some people trade only candle range. You get the idea now. But we are bringing everything together. Is that again? So now we have liquidity sweep here. Can you see? You know, because we want to sell, 2 hours asks us to sell. 1 week is also selling, but 1 day is buying. Now, because 1 day is buying, we need to move to 12 hours and wait for liquidity sweep. That is exactly what we are doing. So here, this red candle went up, swept this and closed below it. So meaning we are going down. But you are not going down immediately. You wait for the next 12 hours. You know, this 12 hour was one that swept this liquidity. You wait for the next 12 hours. So then you now go to 5 minutes time frame where you are going to have your entry. So where do you have that? I think, okay, where is it not visible? So you go to 5 minutes. It's not, wow. So we go for the next 12 hours candle to open. So the next 12 hour, so let's have it. Okay, so this next 12 hour. So the next 12 hour candle exactly 1 a.m. So this is 1 a.m. If you are trading crypto, so you are not going to sleep. So don't sleep at all so that you collect your money. That again. So in this case, this is 1 a.m. So you go to 5 minutes. So it has opened. So it opened exactly 1 a.m. So okay, this is what I was checking. So this 1 a.m. So this is where it opens. It opens here. Okay, for now. Now, how do we trade? You are going to use limit order. So please, I want you to pay attention on the issue of limit order. Now, I want to use bearish to explain how to enter limit order. For market order, I've demonstrated that. Market order, you enter your trade immediately, but you put your stop loss above the swing high. But for limit order, this is what you're going to do. For sell limit order, you go and identify this pattern. Now, we are having the market coming from here. This is a swing high. So you have your swing high here. Look at that. So this is the swing high up here. So we have this break. First of all, we have a market structure shift. Then we have a break of structure. So what you are going to do now for limit order, this is how we enter our limit order. You look at the last three internal range. So we have an internal range here. So which is the swing. So the internal swing here, this is 1, 2, 3. Then you need three. You need to mark three. So look at that. If you have two, then it's not complete. You need to have a three. That again. So this first one is your inducement. So you need to expect price to come and take this. It will come and take this inducement. Now the second one will be your entry. So you're going to put your entry here. You have your entry here. That again. Why your stop loss will be above the third one. So this is how we enter our own limit order. This is what we give you sniper entry. So this is how to get sniper entry. That again. So you now wait for the price to trade up. That again and come to your entry. Then we go down. So this is how we enter it. But in case you cannot identify these three internal range, is that again? Now imagine you are having some pattern like this. One, you have only two. So this is when you have two. This one is when you have three. Three is complete. But what happens if you have only two? If you have only two, this one will be your liquidity. So this is your inducement. So meaning you are going to have your entry here. Look at that. So here we have two Vatican. Now, what happens if you have only one? Imagine you just have this, and that's all. So if you have only one, so this one here is your inducement. So your entry will be here. So what happens if you don't have any level at all? So please just take attention here. So this is crucial part of the strategy. What about if you don't have any at all? If you don't have any at all, meaning we have this like this, we have this like this, and down, meaning we don't have anything here. We don't have any, so nothing. So if you don't have anything, my guy, your entry is at the swing high. You get per now. So don't force the market on you. So sorry, don't force yourself on the market at the entry. So wait for the price to come in and take it. So please don't forget the complete one is when you can identify three internal swings. If you don't have three, identify two. If you don't have two, then your entry will be at the swing high. So let's see now which one do we have here? So the one we're having here. So let's see, do we have any? Okay, fine. So if you look at this here now, we have this one, then we have this two, we have only two. So this is where we are currently. So we have only two. This place will be your liquidity, while your entry will be here. But if you know you are a kind of risk taker and you don't mind, you can have your entry here and your stop loss here. But it is good to miss a trade than to lose a trade. You get, but it's actually good to miss a trade than to lose a trade. So in this case, although sometimes I do take risks, I'll put my entry here. So sometimes I don't really mind. I can just put my entry there. But the appropriate place to put entry is here. Now, the reason why I usually put my entry here, don't forget that we got this entry from 12 hours liquidity sweep. That's how we got this entry. So meaning that we had this sweep. This swinger is from that 12 hours. You go to your 12 hours now. So let's go to the 12 hours. Okay, so if you look at the 12 hours here, so let me remove all this. So if you look at the 12 hours here, so this is 12 hours. So this is what gave us that sweep. So now what I want to do now, you can be using this for your entry when you have that sweep. So this is the 12 hour that went up to sweep this liquidity. So make sure that your stop loss is above here. So that is above here. Together. Your entry can be here. So where you sell this liquidity. So your entry would be here. So you can have it like this. Sometimes we normally have our entry like this. Okay, apart from, so we normally have entry like this. So have this kind of entry if you don't have up to three swings like the way I demonstrated. You can have your entry like this. Okay, for now. So meaning that I have my entry here. So my stop loss will be right above here. So and then that's all. So let's check 5 minutes and see how it look like. Okay. So this is how we are going to have it. Can you see? So yeah, I think it was still aligning with what I explained the other time. So where you are going to have your swing here. Although here I asked you to put to use this as your inducement, meaning price will come and take it. But if you can take risks, you put it here. So you can just put your entry here. So it depends. So you can just have your entry here. Stop loss above this, then have an entry here. So let's have this play out and then call it a day. So you target the next swing or just take a two. Okay, I think a two. This is 3 to 1 risk to reward ratio. So let's have this play and see if price will come to our entry. And if it doesn't, that other opportunity another day. But again, let me fast track it. Let me go to a more higher time frame to see how it works. Okay, so I think a price did not come to our wait. Okay, price did not come. Okay, price did not come to our entry, but almost. It was actually trying to. Okay, but this one is which day is this? So we had this entry when that is on the 11th, but here we're having 12th. Okay, I think I still count our entry. So this is Saturday 11th. Okay, meaning on the 12th, which is somehow almost more than 24 hours. More than 24 hours. Let's see. Okay. I think it's actually played out. Oh. It played out nicely, but that was more than 24 hours. More than 24 hours. We get better. I look at when it actually came to our entry. So I hope it didn't hit the stop loss. Well, let's see, did it hit? Let me check. I hope it didn't hit stop. Okay, put our stop loss here. Oh, almost, man. Let me see, I want to be sure. Almost. Actually, almost hit the stop loss, but I didn't get to the stop loss. But almost. Wow. Almost hit the stop loss. Is that okay? So, and it's not well, it's still a good trade, but it takes days or more than 24 hours before it played out. So that is all. And I think that's all for this. So let's just try to wrap this up. So get to our Telegram group channel, have follow up, then we'll continue growing together. Thank you very much.